was healing people. The purpose of that was to say, this healing theology of the Old Testament, it's not true. I don't have to get beat up to heal you. I don't have to bleed to heal you. I'm helping you. I'm loving you now. You don't have to do that. The only thing that I did in my death was to prove that you were so evil and I was so good. You're so evil that you would beat up and kill a good man, and I was actually God, and I still am God, and you didn't get it. That's how evil you were. And Jesus comes 2,000 years ago to say, I'm a good man, and your theology beats me up and kills me. And so historic Christianity really has to be called into question for many reasons, but for this reason it certainly does, and for all the reasons that it killed all those who actually asked these tough questions. They would simply censor them by taking their heads off. They called the taking of the heads off of people called heretics, they called that mercy. The ones who did not receive mercy, they didn't get their heads taken off. They would simply burn those people. So if you had a theological question, historical Christianity simply would take your head off or burn you at the stake. I don't applaud things like that. I don't applaud their theology. I don't applaud their methods. I don't applaud their practices. I don't applaud their mindset. Their philosophy is evil because good men have not stood up. Good women have not stood up and done something. It's going to take people standing up and saying, I'm going to be good today. I'm not waiting for another tomorrow. I'm not going to allow historical Christianity, which is basically historical Judaism, which is actually historical paganism. I'm not going to allow the sacrifices and all of these kinds of isms to continue. I want to be good, and I want to stand up and proclaim what God has actually said, because I have proof. It's not just a hypothetical story that really I don't want to be questioned about. This is why it makes me ill inside when I'm called a pastor. Please don't call me that. That's an insult. You can call me all kinds of names, but pastor is below the belt. Because pastors stand for people who teach things that are not logical, they're not rational, they're not good, they're not even moral, and they're certainly not sane. The reason that we have these canons has to do with pastors. I'm not insulting those people. They've insulted themselves.
The theology of the Old Testament portrays a God completely unlike Jesus Christ, and it proved completely useless when it came to recognizing him while he was on this earth.
This woman was caught in the act of committing adultery, and they said, in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. They weren't interested in stoning the man, just the woman. They were setting Jesus up in order to trap him. And they wanted evidence so they could accuse him because they hated Christ. He stood up and said to them, the one without sin among you should be the first one to throw the stone. When they heard this, they left one by one, starting with the older men. Jesus stood up and said to her, woman, where did they go? Has no one condemned you? No, Lord. What a wonderful no. Listen to this. These are the words of Christ, the red letter edition, in fact. Jesus says, neither do I condemn you. He doesn't ask her to get saved. He doesn't ask her to repent. He simply says, you've been caught in adultery. I don't condemn you. If Jesus didn't condemn us before he died for us and demonstrated his love for us, my question is this: has God ever condemned us? When you see your kids doing wrong, if you resent them, you know that you're doing wrong also. If you hold a record of wrongs against them, you know that that's wrong also. See, God doesn't do wrong. God is perfect. He doesn't resent us. He doesn't hold grudges. He doesn't keep a record of wrongs. What He does is when He sees His children messing up, He helps us, and we should say, thank God. So, did Jesus condemn the lady who was caught in the act of committing adultery? No. Does He tell her that she needs to get saved? No. Does He say, why don't you confess me as your Lord and Savior? He doesn't say any of that, does He? That day, He looked at that woman who had sinned, and I loved us. When you read it in the Greek text, and you read all of these passages in the Greek text, you're going to find that Jesus doesn't forgive because He doesn't resent us and He doesn't hold a record of wrongs. But when He sees us doing wrong, what He does is He helps us.
Letting go of grudges, bitterness, and other flaws is a maturing process, and we normally call this process forgiveness. To suggest that God forgives is to suggest that He is maturing and getting rid of flaws. To suggest that God needs blood and a human sacrifice to forgive is to empower the mythology that the Apostle Paul warns us against. So, does God forgive us when we are having problems and doing wrong? Or does He simply help us, heal us, and love us? Dr. Michael W. Jones.
You now have permission to dance. Party rock, party rock, party rock, party rock. Yeah. Dance. You're not dancing. Let's go.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Oh. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Yeah. We just wanna see you shake that.
One.
Welcome to TBOG.
Welcome
to TBOG. Welcome to TBOG. This TBOG. TBOG is show. How come every time I write a song, I just say the T-Bog's the show?
I don't know. That's your go-to. I like it.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, but everybody knows it's a show.
They better know it's a show
That's
because
right. Wake up, people. T-Bog is
we
a
got
show.
millions of viewers. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome to the beginnings of greatness. This is this show is the standard, the new standard for all other shows on the internet and on television.
Kings and queens and presidential candidates and presidents and dictators watch our show.
Well, yeah, mostly dictators, but some kings and.
Last week.
Last week we did sock puppets.
Boom, boom, boo,
right.
boots, boo, doo, doo, doo.
Matthew.
The app I was talking about is not free anymore.
Oh. Well, then we can't do the thing we were going to do because we don't have any money.
Speaking of money, you can send it to P.O. Box 666, Satanic Highway.
What?
That's the P.O. Box for New Covenant Group.
That is not. That's really,
you can pick it up at
that's rude.
UPS Colt.
That's rude to the New Covenant
Colt
Group.
store.
We got too much of that already. People saying
Exactly.
stupid things.
I'll I was making a point.
Don't be a part of the problem, Matt.
I was making a sophisticated point. All these people out there talking down on us.
We'll talk later about
You
whether
mess
that was
around,
sophisticated or not.
you lay around, okay?
Just called your favorite place the devil. It's wrong. Some people call Matt's favorite place the devil, and Matt has been wounded, and he was abused as a child by people who thought that he was in a cult, and that was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah. So, how has your week been other than being accused of being a cult member?
Ooh, it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
See, let's start off with Monday, because everybody knows what we did Sunday. Sunday we had sock puppets.
Please don't give me a play-by-play of your entire week. Just give me the highlights.
All right, highlights. Wednesday.
Wow. It's really depressing. For half the
Wednesday,
week.
we had a great time here at the NCG Studios.
That's right.
We had just about everybody participate in a Holy Ghost revival production.
That's right. You may not recognize Christoph Chikrin, Buckley Chikrin.
Maybe you do now.
See?
How about now? My name's Christoph Chikrin, Buckley Chikrin.
I'm not going to go into the whole
I really wish that
backstory.
your explanation had involved the fact that that your grandma's name was Chikrin.
Well, that was two different.
Yeah.
There was two different backstories, and I just
Yeah.
went with one. I was
Yeah.
under pressure.
You
Under
buckled.
pressure.
Buckley buckled.
Buckley buckled under
That's right.
the pressure from the group. All right, Wednesday, that was an awesome day. Thursday, what'd I do Thursday? Boop, 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 boop. Nothing. Friday, I spent an evening with my grandparents on Friday. We watched TV, ate a couple Dagwood sandwiches. Me and my grandfather took turns scraping the bunions and corns off my grandmother's feet. That was successful.
So you're now describing one of the highlights of your week.
Yeah,
that
this whole
just
time I've
recapping
been
that-
whole
okay.
time I've been describing
So
the highlights.
the bunion scraping was
right? Because it's hard to get those off, and
so it's rewarding when you finally do.
you're rarely successful, and me and my grandfather were 100% successful, and I would say that was a great accomplishment. That was on a different note, the beginnings of greatness for that particular event.
The bunions of grandma.
Right. TBOG, yeah. TBOG, the bunions of grandma.
The brother of grossness.
You gross. Okay, and that brings us to today. Sundays are always a great day for me. I love being here.
It's a party.
I love all the teachings and everything.
Guys, if you are not crew member, you are missing out on so much fun.
Boo.
It is a party every day, nonstop. That's right.
Woo, woo.
We're in the back with kegs of lemonade.
Ooh, we got all type of snacks and different types of cheeses,
Crackers.
and sauces.
Cheese spreads.
Oh yeah, we got all types of beverages,
Music.
soda pop, music,
And then just adventure all day.
all day long.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen on Sundays from our minute to minute.
right.
Something could crash. Somebody could say something weird.
And when
we're
things
just
go
shocked.
wrong, that's when the real woohoo moments happen.
Oh yeah, because we overcome them, and then we're like, did it? Wah, boom.
What was that?
Yes, sir. Crew member.
A viewer
called.
called and said I look like Jay Baker. Is that true, or is crew member making that up?
What do you have to say about
Somebody's crew member is rubbing his face like this. Is he telling me?
that? Means he's lying.
When you do that, it means you're hiding a smile.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But okay, let's pretend that happened. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are TBOG is a cutting-edge, non-interactive program. We do not take comments. We do not respond to comments.
Tell them.
That's right. Do not comment in.
It will get gobbled up.
In fact, I'm giving that to the comment gobbler right now.
Gone.
Matthew,
Yes, Joey.
I've had an adventurous week. You didn't even ask me about my
I
week.
was about to, but we got sidetracked. How was your week?
This
Just
week,
the highlights.
I'm only going to give you one. This week, I've been obsessed with a logic game. I'm a very analytical person.
Mm-hmm.
I do programming. And
You're a very skillful
Yeah.
and successful programmer.
well, thank you, man.
I thought the audience should know a little bit about you.
And so after a day of programming,
Mm-hmm.
when I want to relax,
What do you do?
I do logic puzzles.
Nice.
And so
What's the format of this logic puzzle? Is it a video,
Well, I'm gonna show it to you.
video game?
I'm going to show it to you.
Did you make it yourself?
Yeah, we don't have a. Can we turn this TV around so that we can have a monitor here? I need to see. And can you show this puzzle? My brother
right.
just changed the oil in my car. He's telling me with his hand. Let me just make sure that I'm getting this right. You're telling me with your hand it didn't take 5 quarts, it only took 1.
1 quart.
That's what you're telling me? Oh, I put 5 quarts in it. I shouldn't have done that, but I'm number 1. That's what he was telling me.
You know, I believe that's the finger he checked his coworker's prostate with. That's what that was. That's what he was showing us.
I don't know anything about
And I don't think that was oil.
I don't know anything about cars today.
Shout out to my
for
sister Ta.
Tata.
Hey Ta. Love
Is she
you.
still okay with being called Tata? Okay.
I don't know. She's growing up. Ta.
What she doesn't know
We
is that
love you.
in my brain, all of her life, I have called her Tattertoot.
Tattertoot.
If she's watching, she's just now finding that out. And that is 100% true. That is the first time I think I've ever said it. But in my mind, I've always called her Tattertoot.
Does Ty want to be on the air right now? Hey, can we talk to Ty? I mean, hello, Ty.
Hello, Tata, Tattertoot.
Ta.
We love you. Tata is our little sister.
Say something back.
Don't just not talk to us.
Talk to me, Ty. I miss you.
Our audience can't hear her.
I was wanting to get her on the mic. Get her on the microphone. I want her on the mic. Ta.
Tata.
Tata, can you hear me?
Tata, can you hear me? Let's have some house sound on that.
Excuse us, audience, while we speak with our sister that we haven't talked to.
I think I hear her. Say something
30
else,
years.
Tata.
Do what?
There she
Hey.
is. Hello, Tata.
Ta, how you been doing?
Tabitha.
Good.
Good.
Hello, Tabitha.
Hello.
Ta, what grade are you in now?
7th.
No way. Get out of here.
We don't allow people who are 5 years old saying that they're in the 7th grade. There's no way you're that old.
Ta, so how old are you now? You're 14?
No, I'm 12.
12.
You're 20. Now I know you're not being truthful.
What kind of car do you drive around now since you got your license?
I got a Mustang.
Oh,
Did
nice.
she say a Mustang?
A Mustang. She got a
Good.
Mustang.
Yes.
Great day. My lands.
Well, aren't you special? You have a nicer car than I've ever had.
Yep.
Top, what does your car sound like when it's going down the road?
Does it go like this? Does it sound like that?
No.
No?
Does it sound like this?
Nope, not that either.
What does it sound like?
Tell us what it sounds like.
It sounds like a motorboat.
A motorboat. Nice. Motorboating.
Probably like a jet,
Motorboat.
a jet boat.
Like a James Bond jet boat, land and water. James Bond jet boat, land and water.
That's right.
Is that correct, Ty?
About that.
You'll be right back after these messages?
She said about that.
Oh, about that. Okay.
That's right.
Well, do you know you are on television right now, and the audience is just, they're loving it. Ever since you got on and started talking, our audience size has quadrupled. So how do you feel about that?
Do what?
Our audience listening to you has quadrupled since you came on air.
Oh,
I want to say thank you for the bump in our ratings.
Yes. Thank you.
Cat got your tongue?
Do what?
Does the cat have your tongue?
No.
Oh. Well, we love you.
Love you. Say hi to your brother for me, and my brother, and our brother, and say hello to the great state of Texas.
And always remember that if your car goes that there's something wrong with it. Remember that.
You got to get it fixed if it does that.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Good
All right.
advice. Good advice from TBOG.
Bye, Ty. Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
She didn't say it. She loved me back.
I'm sure it's because she didn't hear us.
All right.
Well,
let's get back to our.
That was a happy break. I like
Yes,
a happy interruption.
it was
All right, now your week, your logic game.
my logic game. Let's look at my logic game.
Let's take a peek at it.
Can we? Is this on your board there, crew member? Look at that.
Oh,
right.
snap.
This game is currently sponsored by Fairway.
So it's called Parks.
It's called Parks.
All right.
Now, I'm not just telling you this for no reason. I have a very specific reason. So, the way that you play this game is you have to put one tree in each park marked by color,
Okay.
one tree in each row, and one tree in each column. Okay? So, the first obvious move is the gray park, because they can only have one tree. See?
The gray can only have one because there's only one gray, right?
Right.
Okay.
So we put one tree there.
Right.
Also, trees cannot touch each other diagonal or horizontally.
Ooh, okay.
So we mark all these. They're not trees. All right.
Gotcha.
That only leaves one space for the green one. All right. You can see where this is going.
Gotcha.
You figure out where all the trees are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have figured it out, you win.
Nice.
That's how it works. All right.
Cool. Cool.
But with each level, it gets harder. Here's one.
What's the highest level you've gotten to?
I have gotten to, I'm on 30 right now.
Whoa.
All right, this is 7. All right.
Okay.
All right, so it's a little more complicated.
All right.
All right. You don't get, first of all, you get no clues on this puzzle, on these puzzles. You don't know where trees are at all to begin with. let's look at a little more complicated one.
All right.
Level 13. Wait a minute. No, not that one. Let's look at 19. I'm going to go ahead and...
Whoa.
There we go.
Whoa.
That's a mean one right there.
Hold on. How do you lose at this?
You don't lose.
Okay.
Well, you
just
lose by giving up.
Okay, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You're like, this is too hard. I can't do this. You lose.
Gotcha.
All right. So with like the first one, there was a park that was only one space.
Right.
it was
So you knew
obvious.
there was a
All
tree
right.
there.
When it gets to this level,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, there are 2 trees in each park,
All right.
row and column. 2 trees each park, 2 trees each row, 2 trees each column. Trees can still not touch each other all the way around.
Gotcha.
All right. Now, there's no possible way at the beginning of these puzzles to know where a tree is. It's
Right.
not possible.
So your first move is basically a guess.
Can we have some more interesting switching? Thank you. Yeah, some engage the dialogue, crew member. It says, I try and I try and I try to teach him,
I kind of like that.
but he just...
Can you make that bigger?
You'll
little
never
bit.
know crew member's identity.
You'll never know, even though we're sitting right next to you and me. Crew member. Okay.
All right. No way to know where a tree is to
All
begin
right.
with. All right. So what you have to do
Yes.
is you have to figure out where trees are not.
Okay.
All right. And the only way to do that is to make a guess and to see if that guess makes sense. For example, and I'm just going to make a one as an advanced player of this game.
Yes.
I am going to make a intelligent guess. Okay. Now we could guess, for example, that let's cut back to the puzzle, please. Oh, crew member. It's always a disappointment.
There she is.
All right. So let's guess that it might be in the middle of this pea green. What would you call this? This
That would be baby crap yellow.
baby crack yellow.
Crap yellow.
Baby crap yellow.
Yep.
Okay. I gotcha. Let's just guess that it's right there.
Right.
All right. Do you know why it cannot be there?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because of the number of baby crap yellow squares, or is it that? Is that a dark blue above it?
Well, look at this. If we say this is a tree, if we
Right.
say that's a tree right there, the rule to this level is that there has to be 2 trees in a park, and trees can't touch each other.
Hold on, and the colors represent a park, or the
Yeah,
whole
each
board?
color represents a park.
Each color is one park.
Each color is one park.
Right.
Okay. So a tree can't be right there
Okay.
because it would eliminate the possibility of any other place in this park being a tree.
Because it's diagonal,
Right.
left, right, diagonal.
And there's got to be 2 trees in this park. Okay. So that's how we know.
There's 0 trees.
No, there are trees, but that one isn't one. There could, for example, be a tree here and here. Oh, crew member. Keep up with me, please. So there could be 2. Those could be trees.
Gotcha.
Because now they're not touching each other, and there's 2 in a row.
Or
And 2 in a
or
park.
the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the 2 up top.
The
could be
audience is
trees.
keeping up. You're having trouble.
Or the 2 up top could be trees.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm just showing you a possibility.
okay.
Right. All right. So the way that you play this game, you start by figuring out where trees are not. So we know one isn't there.
Right.
All right. And now, once we go through this whole thing and we figure out a bunch of places, like, for example, stop being silly. You're messing it up.
I'm a silly boy.
For example, you couldn't have one right there
Right.
because why?
Right in the middle.
Right where I just put one in that gray spot. I'll do it again.
I can't see.
Right there. You can't have one right there.
I can't see.
Put it back on the game.
All right, now wait. All right, you put a tree right there, and you're saying it cannot be there.
Right.
Okay.
Why can't it be there?
Because above it, it's touching. There's a diagonal touching. To the right, it's touching, and they can't touch.
Touch what?
Trees can't touch each other.
There isn't a tree touching it. I haven't put a tree next to it. But you can't have trees here now.
Well, I thought once you get in your, I thought it was just in the color zone.
No,
they could
trees can't touch each other at all.
Okay, any
At
color.
all.
Gotcha.
So you can't have a tree there.
Gotcha.
Because it eliminates all the green park.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So now we know two places where trees absolutely are not for sure.
Gotcha.
All right. I have spent hours, Matthew, this week.
Oh man,
I needed some help. I spent hours staring at this puzzle, trying to figure out where trees aren't.
did you ever go to YouTube to cheat?
I didn't even go to the bathroom.
Oh my God, did you go in the bathroom in your panties?
I don't wear panties.
I mean your underoos.
Look at what crew member has done. Very nice.
Hey, you finally did it. All right, now.
All right, so I have a point here. These get exponentially harder, but
Level
that's
31.
That's irrelevant.
Whoa.
All right. So this puzzle got me to thinking
Right?
that parks is like life.
The game parks is like life.
Right. Most of what we do in our life is figuring out how things are not. And when we figure out that something isn't that way, then we mark it off and we try something else.
Right.
And
To
we
figure
do it
out
over
what
and
it
over and
is.
over again until we figure out
What it is.
what it is. Right. So this is also the way that scientists do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As a scientist, if I were a scientist, I would tell you that the way that I do things is I come up with a hypothesis about the way that I think something works.
Then you must perform
Then
experiments.
I test it over and over again in my. So I'm like I'm a very conflicted individual because first I start and I argue that it is this way, and then I conduct tests to try to prove that it's not that way.
Right.
And if I can, then I can mark that off as it not being the way.
Gotcha.
Thomas Edison, there's a story about Thomas Edison that he,
I'm sure there's many.
no, just one.
Okay.
Yeah, just one. And this is it. That he experimented with a bunch of different materials trying to find the right material to put in a light bulb that would burn the longest and wouldn't burn out quickly.
Right.
And he finally arrived at tungsten. Okay. And somebody interviewed him and said, you know, you've wasted all this time, with all this other stuff. And how do you feel about that? You wasted all this time on all these other materials.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I don't look at it that way. I didn't waste time on those. I just figured out 99 ways not to make a light bulb. Exactly. Let's give Thomas Edison a hand. Yeah.
I liked that.
Even though he hated Nikola Tesla. Why are we switching to the... You know what? Crew member thinks our show is a joke.
Head, shoulders,
He spends
knees,
time
and
back
toes,
there
knees and
playing
toes.
with a mixer like our show
Yeah,
is not as good as other shows.
We
This show,
are the gold
if
standard.
you do this on this show,
We
crew member,
are the gold
you have to
standard.
do it on other
We
shows too.
Are the gold standard.
That's right.
We are the gold standard.
Tell him. He has to do it on other shows too.
Hey, crew member, just wait till I'm behind them controls.
That's right.
But guess what I'll do? I'll run your show perfect because that's just the type of
Because
guy.
Matthew is like Jesus.
I'm just like Jesus.
He does not do to others the way that they have done to him.
Mm-mm.
Oh, he is reverse golden rule to perfection.
I'm so much like Jesus. I'll probably die when I'm 30.
Stop it. Why is he ruining our show?
What is he doing? Hamburgers, cheese, and grits. Eating on the hamburger.
Okay, so
Now, you was making a point with that
yes,
Thomas Edison story.
I am trying to make a point that we spend most of our lives, not only do we spend most of our lives figuring out the way that things aren't, humanity has spent. Would you stop it, please? Good Jesus, Lord. Could somebody else please get behind that switcher?
Somebody.
So, not only is it that we do that, but
Right.
all of humanity has spent their entire history figuring out a million ways that things aren't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, throughout history, and then without all those people failing, we wouldn't be where we are today with how much we know and know and
Right.
know.
There are some exceptions to this rule. Religion is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that religion doesn't figure out the way things aren't, but religion has probably figured out about 5 ways that things aren't.
Right. You're talking about like the mainstream, hardcore, religious.
Yeah, I mean,
sects.
I don't know if there are exceptions. I can only speak from what I know from religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people in religion, especially those in the clergy, those people who are very deep in it, they do figure out the way things aren't, and they do correct mistakes, but not nearly at the rate of for example, a scientist.
I agree with
A scientist will figure out about 1,000 ways that something isn't,
Right.
and until he arrives at one that he nor his peers can prove to be wrong.
Right. And a scientist, when confronted with new knowledge that goes against what he's put out, they will accept that new information and admit that what they have is dated,
Right.
and continue to grow.
Right. But religion has figured out maybe 5 things, and most of the time they pretend like they knew it all along. They
Right.
hide the fact that they made a mistake.
Right.
And one thing I had to realize growing up was that being wrong wasn't the bad thing. It was not admitting it.
Right.
That was the bad thing.
Gotta admit it. Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong over and over and over again.
Mhm.
You have to come to terms with the fact that is the way that we discover.
Sure
You know,
is. Yep.
A baby pushes something off the table because he hasn't figured out that he's not going to be able to eat that food if he
Right.
does that.
Right.
And you still do that.
Yeah, I still do it.
Right.
Just the other day, my grandmother made me some Cheerios, and
Yeah.
as soon as she put it in front of me,
Instead of eating the Cheerios, you ate her bunion.
I just went like that. No, I don't eat the bunion whole. I take a razor blade and shave it, kind of like truffles.
Yeah.
You shave on a.
You powder it onto a muffin.
Yeah, a whole wheat bran muffin. And
Right.
I ate that. It gives you a lot of fiber. The bunion gives you extra fiber, and within 30 minutes, that bran muffin's coming out of you with force. That's why we brought this up here, because I had one just before the show started. Where were we going with this? Yeah, babies knock stuff over. I knock stuff over. But now I know I need to keep it in front of me so I can eat it and have all that fiber.
So anyways.
So no matter how many mistakes you make, boys and girls, just keep on making them. Eventually, you're going to get it right, and you're going to
But-
change the world. But don't keep
Listen.
doing the same thing expecting a different result, because that is the definition of insanity.
Listen, I believe that this universe was created by a conscious force. I do believe that. I used to say I believe in God, but I can't find a single example of the word God that isn't commonly used to refer to, some sort of ignorant, wrathful mind, dictatorial mind.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So I say God when I'm talking to people just to come to a quick understanding. But in my mind, I think of it as there is a creator.
Right.
You know, and I just have tried to get away from that term because it just has so much baggage to it. But I believe in an intelligent creator, and I believe that that's ultimately where I come from.
Right.
I don't believe that poof, I was created. I was just popped into existence. I don't believe that I came from a first man 6,000 years ago.
Right.
I definitely believe in the evolution of our species, but I
too.
believe that ultimately it comes from an intelligent creator.
Right. I think the creator put everything in motion, and then over millions, trillions of years, it's come to be how we are now. This slow process, and we've evolved, and our
But here's
Earth
the thing.
cooled, and all that stuff happened.
Here's the thing. Believing that, and I'm just speaking from where I am right now, because I've come a long way, largely thanks to Dr. Jones. But I'm not done with my journey, nor will I ever be.
Right.
But where I am right now is I admit that my belief in a creator is currently just where I think a tree is.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now, I have to follow that through to see what are the consequences of that being a tree. Can we stop with the videos? We're being very serious here.
the videos of it.
No videos.
Tell you what, we have
My lands.
we got a trainee up here
My lands.
that we just replaced a person behind the switcher that was putting videos up, and we put a trainee up there. What we didn't take into account is
intern.
that the trainee was trained by the former switcher operator.
The former switcher operator, always known as crew member.
So
All right.
we'll have to do better the next time. Next
All
time
right.
we replace the switcher operator.
Now you were saying you were coming back around to saying the tree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back to this puzzle that I've been working because I was thinking that you know that's where we're all at. We're all trying to figure out
Where the trees are.
where the trees are, exactly, and the problem with most of us is we say, well, it's right there, and then we spend our entire lives based upon a tree being right there.
Without looking.
Yeah, and then one day somebody comes along and proves to us that a tree couldn't possibly be there.
Right.
But we've spent so much time, like me in this puzzle, I put a tree there, and I've gone hours solving a puzzle, and when I get to the end of it, there's 3 trees in a park, and that can't be possible, and I've got to back up and back up and back up and back up and figure out how I came to that conclusion.
Right.
And I may go all the way back to the beginning of the puzzle, or I may go halfway back and say, oh, well, that was wrong, and begin again. Okay?
Even if you go back one space, the first part before you go back one space is admitting that you made a mistake at first.
Right. But something led me to the conclusion that there are 3 trees in a park. That's against the rules of this reality and this puzzle.
Right.
And so I have to usually I have to back up at least halfway through the puzzle to figure out how I came to that conclusion.
Yep.
So most people's problem is that they bank their life on there being a tree in this park, and then years down the road somebody proves to them that there isn't a tree there.
Right.
But they've spent so much time, they've spent so much of their life believing that there's a tree there,
Right.
that they're not willing to back up and try to figure out how they came to that conclusion.
Right. And that's not
But
logical or rational
so
at all.
they're accepting a lie.
Right.
Okay?
They're in denial.
I'm not saying that believing that there's a creator is a lie, but I'm saying you have to be open enough to say everything I know may be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I said that there was a tree here, but I may be wrong, and somebody one day may prove me to be wrong.
Right.
I haven't heard anybody yet give me an argument that proves that there's not a creator.
Right.
Okay.
Me neither.
And I believe that there is one. Okay. Now, I don't have any problem with those who don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any problem with those who do, but I do have a problem with people saying, I know this for sure, but they can't give any proof. They can't give any reason behind that. It's okay to believe something. Just be open enough to say, one day I may be shown that I'm wrong, and if that happens, I should be willing to back up, figure out how I came to that conclusion, and take a smarter route.
Right. That's how we all should be. And the people that don't do that have, no matter how old they are, they have a lot of growing up to do. They need to be open-minded, and but you can also be. You don't have to be so open-minded. This is a quote from somebody. I'm not sure who it is. Don't be so open-minded that you spill your brains out all over the floor.
Yeah. Well, some people think that open-minded means that you accept and believe any idea that's given to you.
Yeah, I don't believe
no, but I do believe that that you should listen to any idea that's thrown your way, and you should weigh it and balance it.
No doubt
and
about it.
If you need to throw it out, throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't just throw something out just because you're biased, because you're convinced that there's a tree in a park.
Right. That's called being a D-bag.
That's right. D stands for delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No.
All right.
What time it is?
It is almost time to conclude our show.
This is a rare show, ladies and gentlemen. We kind of got serious a little bit. If you have any complaints about our seriousness, look into the mirror and say, and then see if that helps you.
I don't know what you're talking about. The show is always serious. I'm always very serious, including this time. Matthew may be silly, but you know what? Don't throw that on me, buddy.
I won't throw it on you, buddy. If you keep calling me buddy, I will throw you on the ground and I will stomp on your face.
Matt loves it when I call him buddy. He's my little buddy.
Anybody out there like being called buddy or fella or pal or
you're precious. You're precious in my sight.
You are precious.
I mean, you could be. Would you rather me call you my little enemy?
No.
My small foe.
You could just call me Matt or Maddie or Matilda.
You're okay with me calling you Maddie?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you're. You know what? I've known you for a long time, and I know for a fact that there's a lot of things that you're okay with me calling you. Many things that I won't even go into on this show.
But don't call me
there are
buddy.
Some things that but yeah, but little buddy, you have a problem. No, I don't know why. He doesn't like me to call him little buddy, but he is my little buddy.
Don't call me little buddy.
Do you know that when your friends find out something that you don't like to be called, that they normally don't give you the reaction that you're hoping for?
They usually keep on trying to call you that same name over and over and over and over and over and over again. But this guy right here, this little buddy, is going to come back tenfold.
Oh, you're like the Old Testament God.
On this little buddy. I'm going Old Testament. I'm going Old Testament on your end.
All right. All right, sweetums. All right, well, it's time to wrap this show up. Let's sing a song.
Sing it out. Let us go to the house after the show. Let's trap that mouse.
We only have 5 more hours, and then we'll go to the house
and trap that mouse. Stay tuned for Wold. It's
guys, you only have to stick with us for 5 more hours.
5 more.
Only
hours.
6. Only 6 more hours, and then you'll be done. So,
Stay tuned for Wold.
you
Then,
know, it's
Inspring Honesty.
wintertime is coming,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good thing to be wooled during the winter.
Yeah. Just don't get that wool put over your eyes. Watch out for these guys coming up next. They'll try to trick you. Watch out for them.
Bye-bye.
There's this guy named Daryl Furlow. Watch out for that guy. There's a guy named Stephen Michael Furlow. Watch out for that guy.
What about Nicole?
Hey, there's a woman named Nicole Furlow, and there's a woman named Tina Furlow. Watch out for them women.
Tricky.
They'll get you.
Tricky ladies.
They'll get you.
Bye.
They'll get you. They'll get you.